Elgato have just unveiled their Stream Deck 7.0 update, and normally most updates are like, oh, bug fixes and little tweaks here and there. This brings something rather incredible to the table, and I want to spend a little bit of time just showcasing it to you. It will all make sense. Give me a minute. Okay, so this is the Stream Deck software that we all know and love, and like this is what we're used to, right? So we got our buttons over here, and then we have all of our plugins and such like. So this is standard. If you've seen any episode of my Stream Deck Secrets series, you'll be familiar with how most of this works. But with the 7.0 update, we now have the option right here under devices to create a virtual device. If we tap it, we get a little mini Stream Deck that we can put anywhere on our PC. We can move it to any location, we can customize it, and this is what I think is so cool, because for people who do own a Stream Deck, this gives you a huge amount of options just to have something on the PC, and how incredible it can be for live streaming, productivity, etc. So let's go ahead and get started with this. It has all the functionality that you're probably used to from a standard Stream Deck. So if we add this control center key right here, we can just turn my light off by tapping a button on the desktop, and then tap the button again. It's awesome. I feel like most people wouldn't get the excitement that I'm getting from this, but the idea of having all these extra buttons just chilling on the desktop, Elgato, you know how to make a man happy. And you can go ahead and just add as many of these buttons and functions as you like. But what if you want more than just these 6 buttons? Because you're kind of limited there, right? You can actually just go up to this little window right here and increase the number of buttons that you have for your virtual Stream Deck. And if you want to display all of them at one time, because all these buttons are here, but you may notice that there's this weird like invisible gap between the buttons. Some people might like that. You can just go back into that little settings panel and then disable hide empty keys. And you can get a maximum of 8 by 8 keys, which you can just again, put anywhere you want to on your desktop. But what if you still want more? Well, you can just go up here, create another virtual device, do the same thing again, 8 by 8 keys. You essentially have unlimited buttons now that can just be moved and placed wherever you want on your desktop. How many buttons is this? 8 by 8, that is 57? 64 times 220. I think that 128 buttons is probably enough for the average person. So we can actually just go ahead and delete this, but this is something that caught me off guard the first time I used it. There's no easy way or like obvious way to delete the virtual Stream Decks straight from here. So you have to go into the settings panel, this guy right here, select your virtual Stream Deck from this list of devices you have connected, and then forget device, and voila. Okay, so now let's get into the customization, because as well as being able to use all of your keys virtually on your desktop, which by itself is incredible, there are also a couple of ways to customize this to make it fit with your aesthetic and the way that you like to do things. So straight off the bat, you have this little eye over here that you can use to hide the virtual Stream Deck and then bring it back. If you open up the settings panel, like we just spoke about, there are a couple of other options in here besides the ability to add more keys. You can change the size of the keys like this. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you can. And then going back into the settings menu, you can change the opacity of the keys like that. And you can even change the frame color. So we can turn that to a nice red, blue, green, and they've actually added a color picker. So you can just match it to the same color as the actual Stream Deck software like that. Then you have a way to automatically hide and bring back the virtual Stream Deck so that you don't have to have it permanently on your desktop taking up space or overlapping other browsers and windows. You can just summon it whenever you want to. To do that, we're going to assign a hotkey. So let's go Control S, and now you can see if I press the hotkey, it will hide it and then bring it back. Simple functionality, but then you can combine it with a couple of other functions like when the cursor leaves the panel. So if we go over here and we're just tinkering, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, doing our thing, as soon as that cursor moves away, it disappears. And then to bring it back, we can press a hotkey and then do whatever we need to do, tap a bunch of buttons, and then hide it again. There is also an option if we hide this to hide after an action is triggered. So let's bring our virtual Stream Deck back, and let's go ahead and turn my light off again. And as soon as we tap that, it will hide the Stream Deck and we can bring it back and turn the light on. So it's a really brilliant way to manage your live streams and give you an introduction to the world of the Stream Deck, because a lot of people prefer having everything software based. They don't necessarily want to have a bunch of physical buttons and things taking up space on their desk. This is an incredible solution for those people. But for people like myself who have all the fancy devices and I've got everything I could possibly need, I'm still going to use this because I have set functions for each Stream Deck. I know what each one does specifically to help me with the way that I do things. So I could assign a bunch of macros and things that I don't want on my physical buttons, or even light controls and volume and being able to mute my microphone and things like that, to the virtual Stream Deck so that it's not taking up space on the stuff that I need right here. Just as an example, I put together this list of functions, which I currently have like spread across 4 different Stream Deck devices. Up at the top, we have the ability to start recordings, pause them, add chapters, start streaming. You've got all of my scenes that I use inside of OBS. You have the filters, so if I go ahead and tap this one, you can see that I suddenly get super close to your face. Then we have all of my light controls, my microphone, and then some functions for live streams, like being able to send the message in chat, or turn it into emote only mode, or just clear the chat entirely. And just being able to have all of these functions at the tap of a button so we can just hide them whenever we don't need them and then just bring them back. Dude, that's insane. Now, do you want the good news or the bad news? Well, it's not really bad news. It's like slightly weird news that I'm actually going to offer a solution to in a minute. But the good news is that this update, this software, the whole virtual Stream Deck thing, it is entirely free. You do not need to pay any extras for it, so long as you have a Stream Deck connected to your PC. So even if you have the cheapest one available, which I think is the Stream Deck Neo, plug it in and you get access to the virtual Stream Deck and all those extra keys and all that extra functionality just tied in, which I think is an incredible thing for Elgato just to give this to people who are already part of that ecosystem. But it's also where I'm a little bit weird about things, because I feel like the virtual Stream Deck is a really great way of introducing people to the world of the Stream Deck and how powerful these keys and this functionality can be to users, not just live streamers, but people who just want to focus on productivity and would prefer a software-based solution. And there's already one available. You have the Stream Deck mobile app, which is free. You get like 6 keys, I think it is, and then you can upgrade. You pay either a monthly subscription or a lifetime, and you get as many keys as you want just through your phone. I think that people would be really interested in paying the same kind of price, maybe even tie it in with a subscription with the mobile app to be able to get the virtual Stream Deck without the necessity of having to already own and plug in a Stream Deck. Because I get the appeal, being able to add all the extra functions, the extra 64 keys plus as many as you want, but I just feel like there's a huge audience that would be willing to go through that whole software-based experience. Elgato would make money from the software license sales, whatever you want to call it, and users won't have to go and buy a physical product. They can just have everything software-based, which that sounds like an ideal solution to me. But anyway, aside from that, I'm thoroughly impressed with this update, and I wanted to make a little video updating you on it. And if you want to see more videos just like this, showcasing all the cool things you can do with the Stream Deck, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be back with a slightly more professional and polished video in the next couple of days, but for now, I love your faces, you're amazing, you're beautiful, and I'll catch you in the next one.